1. Forward. I always thought infidelity was something distant, something that happened in cheap romance novels or TV dramas. Not to me. Oksana and I had been married for 10 years. A shared apartment in a quiet district, a loan, work, predictable weekends at our parents' places, and arguments over dirty dishes. A normal life I mistook for stability. To be honest, I wasn't a perfect husband. I'd come home exhausted, often silent, sometimes snapping over small things. But through all of that, I believed one thing with absolute certainty. We were a team. I earned the money, she managed the home, and together we were building a future. Now, as I write these lines, I know just how fragile any stability is, and how painful the truth can be, especially when it's something you suspected but pushed away like an annoying fly. Second, first warning signs. The first changes appeared last spring. Oksana suddenly became much more attentive to her appearance. New dresses, makeup she once considered too expensive, weekly manicures. At first I was happy. I thought she simply wanted to feel more confident. Then came the late nights at work. She had never stayed past an hour before. Now she returned 2 or 3 hours late, sometimes nearly at night. End of month madness, she'd sigh, dropping her bag by the door. The management is losing its mind. I trusted her. I wanted to trust her. But somewhere deep inside, a small cold worm of doubt had begun to move. 3. Distance in the little things. We started talking less. I'd ask how her day went. She'd answer in a couple of words and immediately reach for her phone. In the evenings, we no longer watched shows together like we used to. She sat with headphones on, texting someone, while I mindlessly scrolled through the news. Our intimacy also changed. It didn't disappear. It became mechanical, as if she were acting out a part. I felt like we were just two people sharing the same space, going through motions behind a silent glass wall. One night, I woke up to the glow of her screen. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, typing quickly. She turned the phone off the moment she realized I was awake. "A client," she said, "needs the numbers for tomorrow. Go back to sleep." I trusted her again, but this time, not completely. 4. The crack. Trying to be a smart husband, I bought her a new smartphone. I disguised it as care. Her old one was glitching, and she needed something reliable for work. But deep down, I wanted to see who these clients were at 2 a.m. She was thrilled, kissed me like she used to, sincerely. For a few days, our home felt warm again. We transferred her contacts, set everything up together. That's when I first noticed an unfamiliar name in her messenger. Dennis, Logistics. The chat history was wiped. "Who's this?" I asked casually. "From work," she replied too quickly. "Handles delivery schedules." I might not have suspected anything if she hadn't instantly changed the subject and taken the phone from my hands as if it were suddenly made of thin glass. 5. The moment of truth. The day everything fell apart was painfully ordinary. I got sick. Fever, coughing, doctor-ordered bed rest. Oksana left for work in a rush. She forgot her phone on the charger. I walked around it for hours. I felt like a thief just thinking about reading her messages. If everything is fine, you're paranoid, I told myself. If not, better to know. Eventually, I picked it up. I knew the password. We'd never hidden such things. I opened the messenger. Her chat with Dennis was pinned at the top. I will never forget the first message I saw. "Last night was incredible. I can still feel your scent." No logistics, no clients, just dozens, hundreds of messages, jokes, plans, selfies taken in the office bathroom, little hearts, and messages that left no room for misunderstanding. Something inside me cracked. My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I sat down on the floor in the hallway and stared at the wall. The world didn't collapse. The ceiling didn't fall. Neighbors still banged something in the stairwell. But my life quietly split into before and after. 6. Emptiness. Before the storm, I could have called her, screamed, demanded explanations. But instead, I lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. It felt like I was watching someone else's life unfold. Memories flashed before my eyes. Our first date, the wedding, choosing furniture, her crying from happiness when we paid off the first loan. I tried to find the moment where things went wrong. I couldn't. By the evening, I made one decision. Don't call. Wait for her. Look her in the eyes. Give her a chance to tell the truth or to lie one last time. 7. The confrontation. She came home around 8, tired, with the same lines she always used. You won't believe what happened at work today. I sat silently at the kitchen table. Her phone lay in front of me, screen on, chat with Dennis open on the last message. Tell your husband you'll be late because of a meeting? I'll drop by for 20 minutes. She froze. Her face turned white. Her fingers clutched the strap of her bag. It's not what you think, she whispered. Then please tell me what I think, I answered so calmly even I didn't recognize my own voice. Sit down, we're talking. She sat looking past me. Then came the usual lines. It was just emotional. We only met a few times. I didn't want to hurt you. I was confused. Each word hit me like a hammer. You could have told me you were unhappy, I said. We could have argued, fixed things, broken up even. But why this? I was scared, she whispered. Scared to lose everything. I laughed bitterly. And what do you think is left now? 8. The anger. Something inside me snapped. Rage rose so sharply it scared me. I yelled, demanded details I didn't want to know, blamed her for everything. She cried, reached for my hand, begged me to stop shouting. But I couldn't. I heard her messages to Dennis replaying in my head. Carefree, light, full of attention she never directed at me. You understand I'll never believe another word you say? I finally shouted. Never. She sobbed, and suddenly my anger started fading, leaving behind only exhaustion. 9. The night after the truth. We slept in different rooms that night. I lay on the couch listening to her stepping out of the bedroom from time to time, then returning. I didn't sleep. I just stared into the dark. The pain was so overwhelming it numbed me. Tomorrow I'd have to go to work, pretend nothing happened, smile at colleagues, while my personal life burned down. Just before dawn, I dozed off and dreamed of our wedding. In the dream, she looked at me the same way she looked at her phone the past months. 10. Searching for the guilty over the next few days, I tried to figure out where I went wrong. Oddly, the betrayed always looks for the fault within himself. Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I didn't talk enough. Didn't compliment her. Didn't notice her efforts. She tried to stay close. Cooked for me. Asked how I felt. Suggested couples counseling. I saw genuine remorse in her eyes, but I couldn't tell if she regretted hurting me or just regretted losing the stability I provided. We walked around the apartment like strangers forced to share the same air. Every conversation turned into her, please give me a chance, and my, I don't know if I can. 11. Talking to Dennis. I hesitated for days, but eventually I called him. Not to start a fight. I wanted to see the man who helped break our marriage apart. We met at a cafe near his office. He was an ordinary guy in his mid-30s. Shirt, laptop, latte. For a moment, the absurdity almost made me smile. You know who I am? I asked. He nodded, looked uncomfortable but not scared. It's over, he said. We stopped everything. She told me she wants to save her family. Strangely, those words gave me more clarity than anything Oksana had said. It meant she had already chosen, at least in his eyes. I left the cafe not relieved, but understanding one thing. Now the decision was mine. 12. The decision I walked the city for hours before going home. Two options kept circling in my mind. Walk out and end everything, or stay and try to pick up the pieces. Both felt equally painful. I asked myself one simple question. Do I want to live without her at all? I imagined an empty apartment, explaining everything to relatives, starting a new life with a scar that wouldn't heal. Despite everything, I realized this. I still loved her. Maybe differently, maybe wounded, but loved nonetheless. That evening I said, I'm willing to try, but it will be long and hard, and you need to understand that I may change my mind at any moment. She cried, hugged me, whispering, thank you, like I had saved her from drowning. In truth, I was barely keeping us both afloat. 13. The road back. We started couples therapy. The sessions forced us to revisit details that made my stomach twist. Oksana spoke about loneliness, about feeling unseen, about how the new attention felt like air after suffocating. It hurt to hear, but I also began recognizing my own mistakes. I had withdrawn into my problems and forgotten that beside me was a real, living person, not just a wife fulfilling duties. We created rules, complete transparency with phones, honest conversations about emotions, shared weekends at least twice a month. Not magic fixes, but steps. Trust returned slowly. Every time she was late, I panicked. Every notification on her phone triggered jealousy. But gradually the reactions dulled, and her behavior remained consistently sincere. 14. A new version of marriage. A year passed. Our marriage is like a house after a fire. The flames are gone, the charred walls are cleaned, and repairs have begun. Some traces remain, but they remind us not only of the destruction, but also of survival. I haven't forgotten what happened. Probably never will. But the wound is now a scar, and scars hurt less. We learn to talk, sometimes too much. Oksana no longer hides her phone or stays late without explanation. I learned to listen, not dismiss. Has our old love returned? No, but something new took its place. Less naive, more cautious, but perhaps more real. 15. Conclusion. If someone asked whether infidelity should be forgiven, I wouldn't give a universal answer. Every story is different. Some relationships should end. Others deserve a fight, even a painful one. I realized one thing: infidelity never grows out of nowhere. Before it, there are unspoken resentments, emotional distance, exhaustion. This doesn't excuse the act, but explains the possibility. I learned honesty with myself. If I'm hurt, I say it. If I'm unhappy, I don't swallow it. And most importantly, I learned that love isn't only a feeling, it's a choice, a daily one. Every morning when I see Oksana making coffee, I choose again. And so far, every time I tell myself, yes, I still want to be with this woman, despite everything. Maybe that's what our adult version of happily ever after looks like. Not perfect love without cracks, but the willingness not to abandon a burning house and instead rebuild it together.